Hello, and welcome to another week of the Abuse Cartoons live stream. Getting a little bit of a late start this week. I apologize for if anyone is too tired and kind of gave up gave up waiting for this to start. But back again. So there's yeah, all kinds of fun stuff. New fear and paranoia is I'm sure you're feeling it wherever you're at as well. New variants and things, and the comedy of naming these things, as long as it gets approval from certain parties, literal parties. Yeah, it's quite a world. Yeah, I think we're finally getting a taste of what it. Americans are finally getting a taste of what the rest of the world must have been feeling, kind of post World War II. Kind of, what are they going to do? What are they going to do next? What are they capable of? What's going on? Yeah, because there was an interesting account. I think it was just the Dan Carlin documentary, or that series, those long podcasts that he does, that was talking about the post World War II, what America's thinking was, and it's just yeah, it's amazing. If certain presidents would have had their way, it would be a very strange world right now. But luckily, and amazingly, the American military would not, or at least the generals, weren't going to follow through on any plans to cement this American world domination. So then we had the Cold War for a generation. All right. But I hope everyone is doing well. This is just the same old thing, and I'm going to try to not be drawing boxes the whole time. Let's try some weird holiday shapes. Yeah, but it could be a really interesting holiday. Definitely going to be hard to hide the supply chain problems, the fuel prices. Everything will be nice and expensive. All right. Yeah, I think I got all the kinks worked out. Oh, and yeah, just in case. So my big apologies for, I think it was the crash that screwed up my notifications. But and here's the you can hear the pitch shifted. The pitch shifted notification. But one more time for Unknown Girl. Thank you so much for last week, and sorry for the screwed up notifications. So that was for last week, that not showing up, and yeah, that shifted a couple of a couple of octaves down. But thank you so much. Uh, and sorry that totally got past me. I should be able to hear that. I hope that doesn't blast your ears out. There may be a way for me to quiet that down, but I I took that clip and played with it a little bit. Oh, this is not going well. Let's try something else here. But yeah, we'll see how this holiday goes. Yeah, I just hope we get some more, or some actual time to do things without, kind of lockdown protocols and stuff. I don't think that's going to happen until after the holiday, because yeah, there's just suspicion that by February we're going to have some interesting numbers again. So we'll see how that goes. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'm sorry. I'm being so vague. But I don't want to suddenly disappear. Alright. And of course I'm drawing the same layer. So hope everyone's doing well. If you're still awake, apologies for the lateness. There we go. So, what's some other types of decorations? Yeah, it's time to get that Christmas tree up, isn't it? I've been putting it off because it's been such an onslaught of Christmas ever since November 1st, but now it's tomorrow. Yeah, it's December, so it's time to get with it. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm trying to think of Christmas movies to show my my daughter, because now there's so much on streaming, and here it's all subtitled in Japanese, so she won't have any trouble following it. She's finally old enough. That was the problem when she was young, is she was kind of halfway in between being able to follow, I don't know what that is, being able to follow things, well, subtitles in either language, but finally she's, reading fast enough that we can do anything. But yeah, I gotta find some. I think we watched Elf last year, so something along those lines. Maybe. Oh, I don't think she's seen Home Alone. That might be a good one. But just one of those movies that has the whole American Christmas thing going on. Because we haven't been in the U.S. for Christmas at all. So that's too bad. That and Halloween, I really sad that she missed out on that. But it started to change a lot even before I moved out of the U.S. My parents were just taking their kids to like trick-or-treating in shopping malls and stuff because they had no connection to their, local neighborhoods and things. It was getting kind of depressing. But yeah, we'll see. No, I'm not going to draw a star. That's just not going to work. How about like a miniature Christmas tree? Like a misunderstanding about scale or something? Something like that might be good. Am I drawing Christmas already? It's not even December. I guess I should do post-Thanksgiving. Oh yeah, maybe that's a good... the remnants of unhappy family Thanksgiving. I can't believe, and it seems to be like a narrative that's enforced by the by TV news and stuff. Because it's always been the case, since the beginning of college education, that your kids go away for college, and they come back with all these grand ideas, and they think they know everything because they took philosophy 101 or political science, introduction to political science or something, and they come back, and especially the the first teenagers, like my parents' generation, the first teenagers kind of came back and just lectured their parents. Now, you don't know, old man, you don't know anything about the world. And that's been a thing. But now now it seems to be like weirdly institutionalized or something, where they're just encouraging, it's like, how to deal with your Fox News relatives at Thanksgiving, or who you should report to the FBI. I think they're literally, I forget which state it was, but there was literally one of the FBI offices that released information about, like, what qualifies for reporting your relatives to the feds. That's just insane. So what that means is that people are now putting their wacky ideology that they're just parroting from some news source or whatever, to they're putting that above their family. So blood is thicker than nothing now. Blood is not as thick as MSNBC or Fox News now. That's so bad. That's really bad, because it's not just that weird teenage young adult thing. It's like now everybody thinks they know better. Yeah, I don't know. I just so that means people are missing out on the fun of not your immediate family, but kind of distant relatives, or like people that you call uncles that aren't really related to you or whatever, getting together at the holidays and hearing their weird opinions and hearing their weird approaches to life, or how they're interpreting things. That's actually enjoyable, and people aren't capable of enjoying that anymore. I think they just are more interested in winning some argument, or in trying to convince people of something, which is so meaningless. But I can't believe how strong that idea is, that Thanksgiving is war and you're going back to fight your relatives to the death, and that's also the kind of cultural schism in the U.S. now, is the coasts and the flyover. I didn't ever feel that. So I mean, I felt that I've talked about this a bunch of times, but I felt that so strong when I left LA and moved back to kind of rural Illinois. Oof. Even like people in Chicago are like just spitting on anybody that's outside of that voting district or whatever. It's ridiculous. So then when I was here, some American asked me where I was from, and they were hey K5, how's it going? Sorry to keep you up so late. It's starting a little late this week, but and I said just in Illinois, and immediately the flyover, like anything that wasn't California or New York or maybe like New England, was the flyover. And that condescending attitude, because I just moved from LA and never like had that mentality, but like this guy's from Fresno, like, so the whole the flyover attitude, you poor people. So it's just reinforcing that kind of nonsense. So people move away, your kids move away for better jobs, and a lot of them went to East Coast or West Coast, and then when they come back, now they can tell you how it is, and condescend to you. But I can't believe how there's, I don't know what the reason behind wanting to do that, to alienate people and make divide people into two groups, because just by that weird geography, because it is making people act weird toward each other. But I hadn't had a taste, I didn't get a feeling for that at all until I had just interactions with like people from Chicago, when I was just like living in the middle of nowhere. And the middle of nowhere is the nicest place to live. It's just, it's great to not have to deal with anything. I just wish there would have been better internet. That was the only problem, is I couldn't work because the internet was such garbage. It was this weird, it was either satellite, so it was out any cloudy day, it was out, or it was this weird line of sight, like radio signal garbage. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, doing good. K5, glad to see ya in the chat. Yeah, I think it's a little premature for Christmas, but at least I'm just trying to warm up with some Christmas drawings. Yeah, but I can't believe they're kind of reinforcing that idea that you should you're so much better informed, you're so much better educated. Go home and tell your family what idiots they are. That really sucks because that should be the only thing you have, the only comfort, the only thing that doesn't judge you, that just accepts you however, the world has messed you up. Should be what it is. But now it's just this weird competition. And I was surprised because like I said, my parents are that baby boom, uh, post-war generation. So the first teenagers. So they were the first ones to go away and get an education and come back and fight with their parents about politics. And the Vietnam War and everything made that a lot bigger. But yeah, I can't understand why they're reinforcing that mentality and how. So I noticed my parents have that. So after I moved to Los Angeles, and then we come back for holidays, how they defer to me. Oh, you must know. Oh, the worldly people of Los Angeles. It's just a bunch of transplant assholes. It's for the most part, and I hate the fact that they say, oh, just on all of these things they deferred to my opinion because of where I was living, because of like what the housing market or whatever where I was living. So they easily, I guess they tried not to do what their parents did, um, which is weird. It's very strange that that kind of attitude made me very uncomfortable. But I guess that's what they want. I guess that's the world that they want. Let's try this scale. Yeah, they'll do a weird scale thing. If this was the tree, the decorating thing, I was going to do, hey, Sedona. I know it's not. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be Christmas time yet, right? It's still November. I guess it's post Black Friday, so it is officially, the onslaught has begun. How's it going, Sedona? Oh yeah, this is your wheelhouse. That's right. Like last year, you were like knocking them out of the park with the Christmas cartoon, with the jokes for Christmas cartoons. That was amazing. Ugh. I think you know my audience better than I know my audience. All right, and maybe one more, some kind of something that's obviously a decoration. And maybe just another kind of one of those elongated looking things. But yeah, just that is so strange now. And what would it even mean? Like, if I came back every year for Thanksgiving from a foreign country, what would that bizarre thing be like? Yeah. When we were kind of living half and half and would come home, like the time we would change would be between Christmas and New Year's. It would just be a long like interview process. When we go to relatives' houses, visit houses for Christmas, it was mostly step-in-laws, step relatives. Then it would mostly just be an interview about living abroad and stuff. Yeah, that's good. I'll try not to. I'll try to keep the Mariah Carey to a minimum. Uh, yeah, she really got her Christmas standard, didn't she? Yeah, I dread going near a Starbucks. The Christmas music is. Where's the worst? So Japan has a real problem with kind of music, with their like canned music. For a while, there was this default service, probably like whatever music was, because music was like a service that you paid for, like a radio receiver that I think just piped this canned music that you play in elevators and stuff. I think it was like an actual radio receiver service, and they had something similar to that in Japan, and it was kind of like the way that it was set up was like satellite radio or whatever. You just went through these channels, like you went through like A channel, and there were like 12 or however many, like 20 options on A channel and B channel and C channel. So you had 60 or 80 different options and different types of music, and it would just play. It didn't really loop. It would just play random stuff, and I think it was like a radio antenna, a radio receiver that picked up some sort of signal that you had to pay for. And so they have so much canned music everywhere, and in like the hipper like shopping areas and stuff in Japan, it's pretty funny because they play really odd stuff, like really odd combinations of stuff, but it's definitely more curated. But a lot of places, just have really bizarre tastes. Really bizarre tastes in music. So like Dunkin' Donut, not Dunkin' Donuts. We don't have Dunkin' Donuts. Mr. Donut. Mr. Donut here has really bad music. They just have a looping thing, probably a CD, or maybe like a digital drive or something that they put in that loops. It's like AM radio hits from the 70s and 80s. So it's really bizarre, like Hall & Oates and Creedence Clearwater Revival and like really random crap. I guess that's almost 60s. It's really like weird random stuff. A lot of it's very identifiable, but it's really bizarre. So I don't know. I wonder how they got, because that would be a lot of music. That'd be music with a lot of fees attached to it. So I wonder how that works. And that's the other thing too. The television here, especially like daytime and morning television, the background music that they use is very recognizable, like hit songs, not current usually, but they play some music that might be really expensive. So I wonder how, and maybe if it's not Sony, then they can get away with it. But it seems like it would be very expensive to use some of the songs they use as background music, and you can tell that they don't know the lyrics or the content of the music. They just like the sound of it. They just think it sounds nice. So it's just this weird background music. And so daytime television has like weird, like you'll hear like Linkin Park and stuff. And it's like, what is going on? It's very random. It's like they're talking about recipes or whatever. And then you'll hear this really odd kind of outro music. And they love, I think it might be like a show kind of adopted it as their kind of theme music. But if you've ever heard Kate Bush's Wuthering Heights from, I think it was like late 70s, early 80s. But she sings like super falsetto, like super high. And I don't think they know what the song is about, the novel or anything. But they really like that. Well, speaking of Mariah Carey, that really super high falsetto, but it sounds so bizarre just to hear that, because it's piano and high female falsetto vocals, and you hear that all the time on daytime television in Japan. So I don't know what that's all about. All right, so we'll do a mistaken for the actual Christmas tree. Oh, wait. I'm not on the right layer. Yes, of course I'm not. That'll be something to start off the holiday cartoon season. Yikes. I should come up with some kind of post. Is this? Yeah, this is the most recent. This will be the December 7th, so that's not too bad. That's not too early. But I should come up with some post Thanksgiving thing. I don't know if I can successfully draw a turkey carcass or not. But yeah. So the so Starbucks is relentless here with its Christmas music. So we'll see how that goes. I guess the key would be just avoid that place for a month. Yeah, because it's literally, well, I think I said, they got to get Christmas out of the way as soon as possible because they need that time to work on, set the New Year's, all the New Year's stuff. So basically, like Christmas Eve is the end of Christmas here. Christmas Day is not a national holiday or anything. People don't take it off. Kids get a present on Christmas Eve usually, if they get a gift at all, or maybe Christmas morning if they do that. It depends. Yeah, they don't, it's not anything they follow very strictly. And then Christmas is done on the 25th. Oh yeah. Yeah, print on demand. Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, Christmas stickers, definitely. Yeah, I've seen a couple. It seems like some sticker places, there's a lot of sticker places now because a lot of people that do like, anime shows and stuff and have their Etsy shops do stickers. But yeah, they do them like minimum 100 runs, so they're not going to print on demand and sell them. But I'll try to find places that do that. I think a lot of the t-shirt places do stickers as well, but you can't ever know the quality. I guess I can set it up and then order some and see how they look. But yeah, there's a lot. Yes, yeah, I think Teespring does. Yeah, and I think Teespring is YouTube friendly and stuff, so they'll let you put links. That would be good. Yeah, and then I can advertise. I can pop up. So I've only got a couple of weeks to do that, but yeah, advertise some stuff on the stream. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think I think my problem was I went a little too crazy, but yeah, I set up a Teespring shop and was going to just upload a version of the cartoons that I finished every week. But they give you so many options. They went so crazy with like the types of items, and the store gets really out of control. It's not just like t-shirts. There's all these different types of shirts, and so I tried to make it available to everything, and something strange happened with the store. Like the store, I just the interface is really kind of wonky, and so it puts a bunch of stuff available that what was it? It's like, if you choose the items, like this is the image I want, and then here are the items, then you have to go into each of the items and resize it and fix it so that it actually fits in the items. But that's like one at a time, and I think I went a little too crazy just like choosing things. I just chose too many things, and the interface like was really slow and buggy when I was trying to resize and reset stuff, that it just became, a huge chore to go through everything and make sure it fit on a sticker, it fit on a notebook or whatever. So I'll have to do that more sensibly. Just choose a couple of things and make that part of the weekly routine when I upload. That would be good. All right, so something Christmassy. Yeah. At least just pick something that particularly went well or was a fun idea, and put that up. Yeah, that would be good, because then I can link it in the description of the stream and tweet it and all that good stuff. Yeah, I gotta market this more. Yeah, it's funny. There's it's hard to yeah, because I've seen people over marketing a weak idea. I've talked about this years ago. I've talked about this individual that kind of made me very hesitant to want to overmarket stuff, because there was a guy that showed up at every indie comic show, and I think it was a comic strip that he did, and I'm not sure, like there was just books of collections of this comic strip. I think it was just a comic strip. It may have been a comic, but I don't know how long the premise could go for. And he's probably still around and doing it. and maybe making a living off it. If he's making a living off it, then that's great. But it was Bob the Angry Flower was the character, and the guy would always stand behind his booth with so much, big vinyl signs, promoting everything in big stacks of books of the, reprints of his strips and everything. And I'm not sure if it started as a web cartoon or if he was actually like syndicated very early on or whatever, but he always wore the character was like a big daisy with an angry face. And the cartoonist always wore these cardboard daisy petals like around his head. And I would always see that and be like, yeah, okay, so he's really promoting, that's the gimmick, and he's really promoting his thing. But it really made me like, not ever want to step too far into self-promotion where I was like thinking that was so, yeah, so necessary. So that shows you how like little of a showman I have, in me and all that good stuff. Oh, yeah, or 2022 calendar. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the calendars on demand would be great. Yeah. Some empty friend, yeah. Definitely San Diego Comic Con. Yeah, I think he was a Portland guy or Seattle. I can't remember. He was definitely West Coast guy. But yeah, very like an ever present guy. And that was always my like, measure of I don't want to do that. Good for him, and I'm sure he made a success of it. But it's such like a one note thing, and to be I don't know, because I've had people say, "Wow, your little cartoon gimmick, you could just like find a bunch of trash and put two eyes on it, and that can be your merch." And like, well, yeah, it's not. That's who wants that? That's stupid. Yeah, I don't know. It's very funny how how people think. And there was a lot of just like lame showmanship at comic book shows that made me like, I'd rather do this low key, and if it means damaging the success of something, that's fine, because you can only do stuff like within your tolerances before you feel like a tool or a sellout. And then if it becomes profitable, then you're stuck. And I think there's probably musicians and actors and writers too, like the was it A.A. Milne, the Winnie the Pooh guy. He hates that fucking bear because he wanted to be a serious author, and the only thing he became known for was the book he wrote for his son about this stupid bear. So yeah, you got to be careful. And I think definitely like creators on streaming and like YouTube definitely get stuck in that, because if you're just following the algorithm, what ends up hitting is probably the last thing that you want to actually be doing full time. So you got to be careful, like how far you pander to like what's popular, how far you chase trends, because you may end up being the whatever, the hot sauce guy or whatever, where all you do is taste hot sauce. But I admire that guy for being able to do that. But for me, it was always like, oh, that feels like the worst possible outcome of doing any of this, is being trapped as, oh, it's that guy. But those guys are fun. It shows the fixture guys, the guys that are always there, and they don't they haven't set the world on fire, but they have a. From what I knew, I think I like talked to him a few times, just like small talk, but I didn't know him socially. But everyone said he was a really nice guy. But every time I saw the flower thing, I just felt bad. Yeah. Yeah, that's just, it's just whatever your tolerances are. And that was always the thing about Comic-Con. Like, you walk by a table or a booth there, and some guys are just like barking. They're literally just barking their comic at you, trying to get you to take a look, and then guilt by it. I can't believe there are people that a sale is a sale. So if they can just like look at you with big enough puppy dog eyes, or look pathetic enough, like they have no they have no audience, and you actually buy something, they see that as a some kind of victory. All right, let's do some post-Thanksgiving type stuff. But a big bite out of a drumstick. Yeah, so that was always a big turnoff too. The people that would just like yell at you to try to get you to stop at their booth. Yeah, because like I said, the rhythm of those shows is always, even for like, you know, very well-known established people, if they're going to sit there the whole time, if you don't just come for like a certain few hours of signing books or whatever, if you're going to be there the whole time, you're going to have some downtime, and it's going to feel really weird. So it's either too many people and you're always kind of shorting attention, you can't give everybody enough attention, or there's literally just crickets. Yeah, and in those times too, I've like approached some people, like when I see somebody, some artist that I like or whatever, and I see there's nobody at their table, I would go over to talk to them. That was when I was at my own booth. I couldn't do that ever very easily, and but God, I regretted that so many times. So many assholes. It was just like I was just, I can't put details down there because that's where eyes need to be. Yeah, but I was just so shocked. It would have been better if I never met them, because of some really shitty personalities. Or maybe they just had low blood sugar. But people that don't have any problem, they're trying to sell shit, and they don't have any problem treating total strangers like shit, is amazing to me. Okay. Something like this. I don't know the proportions. Yeah, and I always like the I'm not sure, maybe it's changed now, but I always like the smaller shows too. San Francisco had the I have no idea if it even exists anymore, but the Alternative Press Expo Ape. That was such a nice show because everyone scaled down. You weren't like a ghetto. Small press, it was kind of like a ghetto in if you were in the small press section, small press alley, whatever they called it, it was kind of a ghetto, and people, treated it badly because you weren't, hawking Star Wars or whatever. But the whole show, when the whole show is alternative press, like everybody is nice to talk to, and your neighbors are nice and everything. When you get a bigger booth outside of the small press area, then you end up with some odd neighbors trying to sell porno comics or whatever. So it's not the easiest thing. All right, what's other stuff? Yeah, this has to look like just debris. Maybe a bunch of uneaten cranberry dressing. Oof. Let's try to. I was watching this one YouTuber that was talking about 80s movies, and that was a thing that I didn't realize. A lot of times in the 80s, because cable became a constant consideration, there would be cable edits. I know there's always been airplane edits and things, but there were cable edits that included a lot of deleted scenes because they needed a very specific runtime to fit commercials and everything in. So that there are a lot of 80s movies with these weird scenes that were shot and sometimes are even used as promotional images, but you've never seen those scenes in the movies before. And it's because they were cut for theatrical, but always existed for anytime it would run on USA or whatever, cable channels. Yeah, I agree. I love those booths too. Yeah, where it's just people that, yeah, just want to make. Yeah, that's probably the best because I think the social aspect of cons of comic cons and stuff is really nice. People that just want to yeah have you become aware of them. Oh yeah, there was I think I've talked about him before. And now I've totally forgotten his name, but an Asian artist. I think he was like Indonesian or Malaysian or something. But he did this amazing thing where early setup for the first day of San Diego Comic-Con, he went around to everybody that was a fellow artist, and he gave them a very expensive kind of giveaway book, sketchbook of his stuff with like contact information and everything. So he went around and introduced himself to everybody, and his artwork was really amazing. It was kind of it had a lot of like Buddhist or religious imagery, but it was this very thin, very perfect line work, and he got a lot of work from that. So I think just that openness and friendliness and kind of that willingness to network, and maybe he picked that up from doing cons in Asia because they're much more like that. You have to have at your table, you have to have I forget the Japanese for it, but you have to have something to give away that is basically your work that you're using to promote. So not a business card, but an actual like something to give away, a small book or a specific print or something that you give to everybody, and you put some contact information on that, but it's the free giveaway thing. And so people come looking for that very often. And so maybe he was following that kind of, because I think it was his very first Comic-Con, and so he was going to just like knock it out of the park, and I think he did, because I kept seeing he did a lot of alternate covers for American comics and stuff. Like I kept seeing his stuff come up, and I think maybe even like Giant Robot or something worked with him. Like he did shows in LA for Giant Robot. I'm completely forgetting because it was that long ago. But that was really impressive. Like he really decided he was going to make the most, because I'm sure it was an insane amount of money to be spending compared to what he'd done before. But that was really cool. Oh, that doesn't look like anything, does it? It's supposed to be like corn on the cob. Yeah. Yeah, but that's very impressive. Yeah, and I've seen such such bad behavior at those things. It's really crazy. Yeah, I think I think I've already talked about the guy that was my booth neighbor. And this is before simps, but he was definitely simping for some girl, and like literally drove her down so this is like 8 hours or whatever, no, maybe even more, but drove her down from I think either San Francisco or Portland down to San Diego for the Comic-Con. So drove her down, got her a hotel room and everything, and they weren't anything yet, relationship wise, but I think he was anticipating this being, putting him over the edge, and especially like her seeing him as an artist with a booth at a comic show. But of course, the second that she got there, she went to the highest status, artist that she knew, and hung out with them the entire time, just kind of ghosted him for 5 days. And so he's my booth neighbor. So every day he's getting more and more pissed that he hasn't seen her, that they, haven't even gone out to dinner. He has no idea where she is. And, oh, cool. Sorry. And so it was just making me laugh so much, imagining what that drive home, 8 hours or whatever, horrible drive home with her was, because she would definitely, head back his way when it was time to drive home and get a free ride back. But that made me laugh so much. It's just I guess someone that concentrated on his art and not learning about how tricky women can be. Oh, that's cool. The last time I did Comic Con was 2006. I think the last one I did was, yeah, because yeah, I had already by 2007 I'd already left LA. So I think it was 2006. So yeah, I was in Los Angeles from like 97 to 2007, and I think 2006. I have to go back and look. I think 2006 was the last year that I did it in the small press area as domestic abuse. Hey G to G, how's it going? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so you lived in San Diego. Yeah, so yeah, I did it for most of the early 2000s, and I think 2006 was the last year, and it was like right before it became so Hollywood dominated. Like it was still when I was doing it, it was still the time when like Mark Hamill and like recognizable people would be like Brian, the comedian, the big guy, big blonde guy. When they would just be walking around on the floor, so you'd see like famous people walking around, and they'd get stopped for photos occasionally, but they wouldn't get swarmed. And then it became so Hollywood heavy, and the big releases, like the big reveals and stuff. Hollywood started to do their summer movie teases and stuff at Comic Con. Hey Bliss, how's it going? Thank you. Working on what the leftovers, the Thanksgiving leftover cartoon. Um, the yeah, so I got out right before, and also right before Artist Alley became like this like locked in deal. So sometimes RC Harvey would go to San Diego. He's a cartoonist, but he also was mostly like known for as a comic historian. He writes for Comics Journal and a lot of different publications, and published a lot of textbooks about comic book and cartooning history. And he used to be an Artist Alley when he would go, but I think it's so locked up now that yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, yeah. So right. That's when on-site, yes, on-site registration, and that's right. I went there in the days where you could walk up, and when I was like working on various things, I was working on like U.S. War Machine, or I just said I was R.C. Harvey's webmaster, and they would give you a pass. Like you could just get a pro pass, just walk up and said what you did, and they would just hand you a pass, and you didn't have to wait in line or anything. It was yeah, so different. That was really great, and it wasn't the floor itself wasn't like the walls weren't like bowing outward from like being over capacity, because that San Diego Convention Center is, I think, they're outgrowing it, and unfortunately I don't think there's anything in LA that could handle it, but I'm sure they will make there will be attempts, just because of the odd management of that con. There might be odd attempts to make it more convenient and make it closer to LA for all the movie production, movie promotion that goes on. I heard rumors about that, but that was years ago. Um, and I think San Diego, the city, would fight pretty hard to keep it, because that's a pretty big event for them every year. But yeah, so so I guess luckily, because it was so nice. The times I did it, it always was a good, it got me work. I always got something out of it, and met so many people that were already fans, which was so shocking. That was like such an amazing thing to have happen. What's another kind of? I guess I can do like little kernels of corn. But it was so amazing, like because of the internet, like people would know your work and approach you because they recognized it. So that was always a very amazing feeling. But yeah, I think I got out right before, and the last con that I visited, I think like 2010 or whatever, was WonderCon, and it was such a like a more minor con, but there was an artist that I was promoting here in Japan at the kind of my gallery thing that I was doing for a while, that I needed to meet there. But yeah, that was the last con I saw, and even for a small con, it was pretty busy. It just there weren't any really big people there. It was that kind of B list of artists and attendees and stuff. And I think so many of the cons too have become oh yeah, Anaheim, that's right. Yeah, right. Yes, I think Anaheim is WonderCon, and I'm not sure what the Los Angeles or Las Vegas con is. Yeah, but that was my dream when I was a little kid. Like you would see the ads for San Diego Comic Con in comic books, or they just like hear of it. Like that is the place. And I guess now there's the New York Comic Con too, which is probably comparable. But yeah, so as soon as that was the first thing, whenever I got near California, was I have to go to San Diego Comic Con. And back in that day, it was so much more reasonable to approach, and that was so cool to like get a pro badge at San Diego Comic Con. That was crazy cool in the late '90s. That was such a cool feeling. But yeah, that's all gone. You have to have credentials for a movie studio to be treated well there, I think. Yeah, what else is a Thanksgiving type thing? Oh, mashed potatoes. Yeah, so I haven't. There's not really great cons here either because they're either very crafty, very Etsy kind of, not even Etsy, different than Etsy, because Etsy's pretty diverse. Very girls' hair accessories oriented is the best way to say it. Or they're manga only, and you can't get much. You're an oddity there if you're doing something other than manga, but you have to kind of pick a category of your work and be in a very specific area. And people just like, okay, that whatever that is, you get a weird. You get weird looks. I had some success early on because of being an anomaly and my stuff looking so different. But I literally had a couple of smaller manga shows here, zero sales. It was like they were only like a 1 day show, but that was a blow because a few of the 1 day shows I did better than any places that I ever had because you got really busy. But there was one show that I did that was just a 1 day show that I wasn't engaging with anybody. I wasn't talking to anybody. I was just kind of, like reading my phone and like waiting for people to stop and look at anything. And yeah, just that maybe lack of friendliness really hurt me that time. But it's just, yeah, it just was not, it's just off and not in the mood to promote myself. And it really showed. Yeah, so but those shows too are so cheap. Like the fees are just nothing compared to US shows. There's a lot of them, but it was a really tiny show, so it was not surprising. All right, so here we've got some sure, that's enough of a battlefield, right? Yeah, but I miss that, and I miss what they used to be. So maybe a smaller con would be good, or like an indie. Just going to indie cons would be good. But I have a feeling though it's so taken over by kind of Tumblr artists, and not to disparage how anyone gets their work out there or whatever, but I think it's just changed because my daughter has my older daughter in the U.S. has a lot more experience with that now, and it just seems like, yeah, I wouldn't be able to find a place because everybody that I was kind of identified with or enjoyed seeing every time, they're like so insanely expensive, insanely successful now that I can't even approach them unless I kiss the hem of their robe or whatever. So yeah, some people that I used to enjoy talking to, I don't know if I could even get an audience with them now. So who knows? All right, wow, that went pretty quick. I guess if you have an idea and attempt to draw it, it goes a little bit better. I'll move everything up a little bit. I'm gonna center it in the frame. Oh, but Yeah, it's funny. Well, that's cool. You live in San Diego. That's always, every time I've been there, that's always such a nice area. And the drive down, like when you're closer to the city, I'm like, oh, this would be so nice to live down here, be near the ocean and not be LA near the ocean. Kind of, yeah, yeah, in that way. Like, Malibu and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I always thought San Diego would be a very cool place. Uh, But yeah, okay, so I gotta come up with a cranberry color. I think it's actually, yeah, I should be doing this on this one. There we go. Yeah, there we go. That kind of reads as cranberry. Yeah, yeah. I lost the and I got divorced because of it. I mean, I just was so ready to get the hell out of there. Even though there was work, it was an easy place to find work. Once like the idea of remote work started to occur to different companies in the kind of mid 2000s, I was like, yeah, I got to get the hell out of here. And somebody decided that was the meaning of their life is to be there. So I wasn't gonna leave. If I was leaving, I wasn't gonna leave with them. It became very clear. So yeah, that was hard. And especially because, we followed each other to graduate school and stuff. It felt really shitty to, to realize that, yeah, no one's leaving here alive, or no marriage is leaving there alive. And it didn't. And yeah, that tends to be the thing. And I think there's just like a special vulnerability that Midwesterners have in Los Angeles. They're very impressed by famous people. And yeah, I never got that. I never, caught that same sort of thing. So once the yeah, once you have that bug and like, can't imagine living without seeing some, D-list television actor at your Whole Foods, then you're stuck. You're in LA you're a lifer. You're gonna do life in LA. It's just so miserable too. Any good thing about LA is so destroyed by the bad side of it, and I don't think there's anything that I like left. Like all the little comic. I mean, LA had some of the best comic shops. The Golden Apple was amazing. Back in the day when it was in West Hollywood. Yeah, I think it was West Hollywood. That was a huge, amazing shop, and they had some little satellite stores in the valley because I lived in the valley. And the one that was on Golden Apples on Melrose and on Sunset was the other one. But really cool comic shops. But I think the one became like a UCB or something. Like they started to host improv nights, and I think they're gone now. I think it's like totally gone. What's it called? It was something comics. But so LA used to be a couple of amazing things. Like I don't know what changed, but there was a time when there were so many revival theaters and things in LA. You could see any movie anytime. You could go see Jaws or go see Star Wars or go see Charlie Chaplin movies. There was like so many revival houses and people like running kind of, second run and niche things that you could just see movies all the time. And then something happened, maybe just the economics, the kind of Cineplex model ended up being far superior. And so a lot of these revival houses died, or just the DVD, DVDs and whatever just made it easier to see rare stuff at home than actually have it screened. And they still do have like like it's not Actors Studio, Screenwriters Guild or whatever. They have screenings where like the producers or writers or something of something will be there. Like Tarantino is there, like talking about something, some favorite film or whatever. So that kind of access is really cool. But then you have to like be in the in the film world. Just being a fan of that is not enough to justify living there, living like an animal. Yeah, LA is one of those cities, probably like most of the beautiful cities in South America, where if you're insanely rich, it's paradise. If you're, upper middle class or below, it fucking sucks. So you don't have somebody driving you around, then what the fuck are you doing? Because you're going to spend most of your time pissed off in a car. Yeah. So it's weird, but and I don't like the kind of table scraps mentality of so many people there. Like so many people have gone there to become famous and failed, and they just kind of drift around like zombies. And then there's the people that live, the food that falls off the table of the people that are actually doing things. There's like people that live that way, getting work and just doing these little odd things peripherally to the business, and it's pretty gross. That kind of just like living, in the shadow of something, and just but there's so much money in being a consultant for doing this, or always trying to hustle and get some kind of just trying to get tied to some project. Ugh, yeah, it's just nasty. There we go. That looks like Thanksgiving, doesn't it? Yes. And Omicron. Oh, is it Omicron? Omnicron. Isn't that wasn't Omnicron? Wasn't with a K. Was that really cool was one of the arcade games that used like a trackball or a dial or something to play it. Like it had some weird control scheme. But yeah, let me see if I can find that. I think but you know why? Did you hear why? I'm sure that's all people are talking about. Why it's called Omicron and not she or chi? Omicron video game. Maybe it's not Omicron. Oh yeah, it is. Oh no, that's the Nomad Soul. No, wait. Oh, that's that's the David Bowie. What's the arcade game? Arcade game. I thought it was. It's an old one though. It's an oldie, so the internet might have forgotten it already. No. Omicron is Omicron Nomad Soul was it's so buried. Yeah, it was an old 3D game featuring the voice of, I think the music, maybe not the voice, the music of David Bowie. But so they skipped a Greek letter because new would have been next, and new variant sounds like, okay, which one is it? It's like the new iPhone. Nobody knows which one you're talking about. So they skipped that because it was like in English, it was very confusing. And then the one that would be spelled XI, they had to skip because, I don't know, somebody was going to be personally, maybe offended or feel a little sad. Oh yeah, it sounds like a transformer. Yeah, it does. Oh yeah, it does. I think that is a transformer. But I thought for sure that, what's that one? It's something cron. That's you had to like shoot at these, like it was like a base and there was like a floating head and you're trying to like get into the middle and blow up the head kind of thing. I think it wasn't like a bullet hell. I don't think there was bullet hell yet. But it was like a shooting game. I think you were, a ship or something, and you were trying to penetrate this big base. Arcade game. Maybe it wasn't called. Yeah, there's a Commodore 64 game. I don't know. Yeah, it definitely does. Yeah, so it's so funny that they had to skip some letters because we don't want to offend anybody from a influential party. I mean that. So I was saying that at the beginning of the stream, that's insane. I mean, it's so hard to get my head around. There's a leader of a country that the whole world, the whole medical, like all of science bows to, and like we don't want to say anything that's going to offend this individual. It's amazing. But like I was saying, it was probably the same thing the world had to tolerate with America after World War II, and just not knowing what they were going to do next. Oh, this corn is impossible to put eyes on it. It's gonna look weird. But yeah, we got new fun. And the thing that's so frustrating living on an island is, why the hell do we have any variants here? Why the hell are there people traveling for any reason? I'm not traveling. I gave up so much contact with family and stuff. Not contact, but I mean meeting face-to-face with family just during this time. And there's still people that are just like do whatever the hell they want, and they're still like tourists in places. How are we getting how are variants moving onto island countries? That's insane. It's just all probably business travel and like irresponsible nonsense. And here's me complaining like an old guy. These crazy people coming to the island. But it's just amazing that we're just like waiting for it to show up. It's like, how the hell? Why the hell aren't we controlling things better? Why aren't there better immigration controls in these kind of situations? That's cranky old guy talking. All right, look at that. The detritus of Thanksgiving. Maybe I should put some champagne in the glass. That might be fun. But it's still like mind-boggling that we're just waiting for it to get here from South Africa. How the hell does it get here from South Africa? How is this happening? Yeah, but I guess when the border controls are just, do you have a fever? Okay, you're fine, go. When that's the only thing stopping people, then of course, it's screwed up. All right, what am I doing here? So I want to draw over all of this. Yeah, so no benefit from being trapped on an island and having everything be so goddamn expensive. There we go. There we go. Maybe on this area, put a nice, there we go. A nice line on the edge. So there's a little something left in that glass. Okay, everything's very yellow. Sorry. Oh yeah, I should put some gravy on the potatoes. That would be good too. Yeah, what the hell was that game? That was a really fun game. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to ever remember that. Or no, I almost had it. It was like supposed to be like a more evil sounding name, like Sinistar. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. I don't know why I had the... Yes. maybe. Come on, show me some screenshots here. Yes, that's what I'm thinking of. Sinistar, not it wasn't Omnicron. Sinistar. Ah, that's a great. No, it's just a joystick. I thought for sure it was like a trackball or something. I mean, yeah, it's just a joystick and buttons. Sinistar. That's what I'm thinking of. Yep. This stream, I'm gonna have to retitle it. Old guy trying to remember stuff is the new title. Live stream. There was that thing. What was it called? The guy with the thing. All right. There we go. There's some gravy on those potatoes. Yeah, Sinistar. Yeah, that was the image. There's something else that something cron sounding. Yeah, the pixel art though for that like skull thing in the middle is great. Nice. Yeah, I thought for sure it had a weird control scheme though. But it doesn't. All right, and here's the beginning of holiday cartoons. Let's put these up. Yeah, the last weekly stream was nice. There were so many people in chat and everything. I think because of the holiday weekend, it was an option to get away, or at least distract yourself from holidays and family. But that was cool. Yeah, I always worry it's so hard to figure out good timing. Like, like this. I think that's why it was so. This stream was so dead for so long is because the timing was just weird. I forget. I think I was doing it at no. I forget. I think I was doing like 4 or something at 4 in the afternoon, some odd time when I first started doing it, and it completely didn't work with anybody's schedule. I think I was hitting like the morning in Europe or something, like early morning in in Western Europe, so completely useless timing. Maybe blue. And some gold kind of color. And one more. Very silver, which is just gray. A very shiny gray. Oh, no, not that, because I want to make these gray. Yeah. This. So this should be something else, I guess, green. Just some primary colors, but yeah, I can't believe how in the pocket the World Health Organization is. But it probably was the same, it probably kowtowed to the U.S. To U.S. interests before it was, doing this with China. We're just getting a taste of what the world used to be like. The unpleasantness of dealing with the Americas. Hey, Michael Scott. Yeah, I've had. There's a huge variety. So I think Kobe beef became. I mean, it's a popular. Kobe is a very rich port city here. I still got a lot of Yakuza, I think. Or some. Kobe people are a little bit funny, but they're very, they see themselves as very upper class and continental and whatever, meaning like they, are international. And so I think the reputation of Kobe beef kind of precedes itself, because it's all technically Wagyu, which is like the high, like insanely, I'm not an expert about this. I should do some reading about it, but the really heavily marbled, like raised, like massaged and fed beer or whatever, like, high calorie. So the marbling on a lot of really expensive Japanese beef is insane. The fat it goes through the whole very evenly. The fat goes through the muscle, and so it cooks amazingly tender. I mean, it's like butter. So sometimes I've had like teppanyaki with expensive beef, and it just melts in your mouth. It's just insane, but it's also insanely expensive, like per 100 grams or whatever the measurements are. So you can end up spending, you know, I don't think I've had anything that expensive, but you can easily have like a $200-300 steak, and not a big steak, a very tiny piece of meat here because of that. But yeah, Kobe is just a style, and I think they've done a good job of kind of exporting Kobe style. Like you see a lot of advertisements in the West of Kobe style beef, and I don't think they don't make enough of it, and I don't think like unless you're paying $100 and up for that piece of meat, and it's not a very big piece of meat, you're not really eating Japanese beef. I don't think it's you could export it and sell it for any sort of reasonable price. So Kobe style beef just maybe means it's a little bit it was fed, like the cows were fed something a little differently or raised a little differently. I think most beef cattle here are fed corn. That was when the big ethanol push happened, like 15 years ago or whatever. Japanese farmers were really screwed because they were buying so much corn to feed their cattle that it really screwed them, and so they ended up having to buy. I saw a news story when I was first here. They ended up having to buy what was left over, the processed mash of the ethanol process. So most of the sugar and everything had been taken out of it, but they would buy the industrial kind of leftover of creating ethanol just to feed to their cows because because corn got so expensive that they couldn't afford it. But yeah, I'm not an expert on it, but there are much more expensive types of beef, and depending on like the farm that's raising them, just like you can buy a $100 watermelon here, there are farms with very small output that make very amazing. I think maybe John might know more. He always seems to know so much more about things in Japan than I ever even look into. But yeah, I think Kobe just ended up kind of branding themselves because I don't think for tourists they kind of push that, I think, here, but it's always Wagyu. Like they never and Kobe is kind of the city of expensive things, and Kobe people are kind of intolerable. No offense to any Kobe people listening, but when I've done shows and things, it's very strange, the questions they ask you and the time. They'll waste your time like crazy and then not even like make a sympathy purchase or whatever. I had because sometimes I would go to shows, especially with this cartoon, like translated into Japanese, or would do like A4 size prints and a bunch of different stuff. And so when we did the show in Kobe, people would come up and look through every single thing and ask me all of these questions about everything that I was doing, and like take up so much time, and then just be like, okay, bye, and just walk away. It's like, wow, that's really weird. But that in contrast to like in Osaka or Kyoto, some other cities, people are they know what they want. They're not going to waste your time. They're not just like making small talk and doing some weird, it just seemed like a bunch of lonely people that just wanted somebody to talk to. It was very strange, but they always said really odd things. Like I did, the dollar stores had these clocks that were very easy to take apart. So you could take the face off, and I would put my cartoons on the face of the clocks. It's just so I would charge like $5 or whatever because it was dollar store clock. So, and people in Kobe would come up to me when they would see my little clocks, And they would say, "Are these Swiss mechanisms?" It's like $5. Yes, yes, those are the finest Swiss mechanisms in a $5 clock. That's why I'm selling them for $5. So they had this weird. It's kind of There are people all over, Japanese people all over Japan, that have this weird, like they have a little bit of education in like wine or cheese or something, some kind of foreign thing. And so they're always about, oh, this one is the best. So I'm going to ask only about this because I read this is the best. And so they would say really weird things to me like that. Is this a Swiss mechanism? Yes, for $5. Because I got a guy in Switzerland that hooks me up. But yeah, so yeah, Kobe has a kind of an odd feeling for me. But it's a yeah, beautiful city, and they've got a huge Chinatown, surprisingly big and very like touristy friendly Chinatown. All right, but yeah, I haven't fallen in love with Kobe people. All right, and I think maybe just because of how I got acclimated to Japan. But yeah, so it's just there's all sorts of levels, and depending on where you're getting it, what farm you're getting it from. There's stuff that makes Kobe look like discount beef. There's some really expensive parts or places where you can get beef from. So oops, so that just became like the way that they've marketed internationally. Like Kobe has expensive beef, they have expensive everything, but it's not necessarily the best. And just there are other types of Wagyu that are more expensive, and so you got to be careful with how they charge and how they talk about that, because there is just American beef that they, I guess, do something different to in how it's raised, and just get it a little more fatty or a little more something, and then they say Kobe style, because then they can charge a lot more for it. There we go. Christmas has begun. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, right. Yeah, and it's just I think a lot of times it just refers to a style. So it's just going to be very fatty. You know, it just means it's going to be a much richer piece. So it should be, very, very tender, because it was cooked in the fat should have melted and made everything very, very tender. But yeah, if you see anything outside of Japan calling itself Kobe beef or whatever, and I still think in the tourist areas they still do, you know, even in Japan, try to market Kobe beef because they know people understand it. It means expensive. But I think, yeah, Wagyu is. Oh, let's find out. I just speak in ignorance all the time. Yeah, and the size of oh, actually, it's based on the breed of beef cattle. So Kobe is just one of the Wagyu breeds. So I guess there is like a specifically bred Japanese cattle. So there's black, brown, polled, and short horned. So that would be the Matsuzaki, Kobe, Yonezawa, and Mishima, and Omi and Sanda. Wow. So there are and those are just areas. Those are just yeah, areas where things are. Yeah. So they're bred to have really high fat percentages, so they don't graze. They use feed. Yeah. And so like I was saying, they're heavy into the corn. Yeah, so I see a lot of when we go to the meat shop. Usually we're buying the kuroge washu, the black beef. That's really tender, really good. Yeah, so 90% of all the kind of Wagyu in Japan is the kuroge, black, Japanese black. Wow, yeah. So many areas, Tottori and Okayama, they all have as many. Yeah, but these are very. I mean, these are very small ranches. So there is an Australian Wagyu Association that is the largest one outside of Japan, and they export to Taiwan, China, Hong Kong. United States has some Wagyu beef. Aberdeen Angus is the crossbreed. So when they say Kobe style, it's Japanese cows bred with Angus. Huh. Interesting. Yeah. So it's breeds of cows, and they've been kind of genetically chosen because it's crazy how much fat is in the beef, like how heavily marbled it is. It's just crazy good. Yeah. But but it just means Japanese cattle, Japanese. So Wagyu actually just means, because gyu is cow, gyu niku is beef, so meat of cow. So Wagyu is just Japanese breeds of cows, and they've been carefully bred to be fat, and they're not grazed. They're grain fed, or not grain fed, mostly corn fed. So they fatten them up. Sorry. So so it just means it's a Japanese breed of cow. I thought for sure it meant like expensive beef, but it is just Japanese beef. Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. So yeah, bred with Aberdeen Angus in the U.S. Yeah, and even for like what would be on a kebab in Kyoto, $10 is probably a deal. It's expensive, like 100 per 100 grams. It's pretty expensive, and if it's cooked well, then it's very enjoyable. Yeah, I've just had amazing, because there's a lot of Korean style barbecue here with Japanese beef. So thin sliced, very fatty little pieces of meat that you grill on a little gas or coals, depending on the shop. You grill on a little tabletop grill, and it's crazy. Yeah, some of that beef is it's just like eating a pat of butter. It's crazy tender. So I'm waiting for the gout to hit me any day now. So learned something ever. Finally decided to look up the meaning of Wagyu. I always had the understanding that it meant expensive, but it just means Japanese. Oh, sorry. All right. Wow. I think they just need written now. Wow, that went pretty smoothly. More smoothly than getting set up for the stream. That went poorly. All right. Yeah, I don't understand why this doesn't scale better. That's cool, Nmity friend. You're in San Diego. I'd love to visit San Diego again. Maybe not do the Comic-Con. Yeah, I had a friend from school that I ran into after I'd been doing it for maybe one of the last years that I did it. I ran into a classmate from junior high school, and she moved to San Diego. I think she's in medicine. I don't know if she works like executive stuff. I don't know what degree she got, but she works somewhere in the medical industry, I think. And that was so funny. Seeing people like, it was probably almost 20 years, in the future. She still looked amazing. Which I can't say that about everybody that I went to school with, because the American diet can get on top of you there. All right, let's take a look at some cartoons from previous weeks. All right. Yeah, so beware of Kobe style beef, because there's no there's no way to actually know unless you see the before they cook it. Unless you see it before they cook it, and you see it almost looks like a spider web, on top of a spider web of fat on it. All right, comment time. Oh, come on. What's going on here? Okay, so comments. Why do you not? Okay, wait. Here. No. What's going on? This happens. It resets every time. Okay, let's try this. Yay. Can you guys hear those crows? They're going crazy. All right. Okay, so comments. So this was today. No, last week. Oh, is the latest one up? Oh, no. Did something happen? Today's isn't up yet? That doesn't make any sense. It should have gone out. Oh, no. Let me double check that I didn't... Let me double check I didn't misnumber the cartoon so I can try to get it up before it gets too late. Jeez. Yeah, 30. So 21, 11, 30. Yeah. Should be there. Well, let's do this. Wow, I minimize it and it stays there. That's crazy because I'm capturing a window. So even minimized, it's still there. Let me put this up again just in case this is bugging me. Because it should have shown up by now. Weird. Just in case. I'm pretty sure that I uploaded everything. And the file looks like it's not corrupted, so try again. Okay. Yeah, let me see if it showed up in bad files. No. All right, well, we'll leave that open for now. So there should be, the one for today should be up there. But let's look at the one for last Thursday. So November 25th, the sugar instantly regretted her choice of skim milk. Not her most splendid idea. And what else? That is a regrettable choice. Nice. I would have as well. Regretted the choice or chosen? Nice. All right. Let's go back. I think this one. Oh yeah, I gotta remember. I should like these so that I remember if I've looked at them or not. So the 23rd, so a week ago. This was how most cola wars started. The off-brand cola war. LA News did a blind taste test when new Coke came out. It lost. Old Coke drinkers chose Old Coke. Shasta won. RC beat Pepsi. Nice. What an alternate universe that must have been. And the Uncola just waited until they had all destroyed each other. Oh, that's great. The Uncola lurking. That would have been a great. So like two colas, like obviously done like a Pepsi and a Coke, and then had like a 7-Up or a Sprite like lurking in the background. See, people have much funnier ideas. RC beat Pepsi. Wow. I bet I could tell an RC Cola, because I used to, my cheapskate mom used to buy RC Cola, of course. And so I've had enough RC Cola. I should be able to tell it from other stuff. It's like the store brand equivalent. It's about the quality of store brand. But you can hear that pet coming. Oh yeah, that's right. We did this. So this is they had only ever seen a single pet with that many dishes. All right. And another irresistible pet offer from Amazon. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, buying pet stuff from Amazon. Okay, yeah, we've already looked at this one only because nobody got the joke. What joke? All right, let's try some random. Oh, here we go. Wow, look at these Cthulhu-like stink tendrils coming off of this. Oh, come on, this is 2012. I must have put this up late or something because nobody even saw this. Too bad. Being opened at this point could actually release some kind of ancient evil. So, expired leftover joke. Wow, look at that amazing detail. I don't think that, yeah, I don't think that's ever come up. All right, here we go. Oh, this is, what is this, Obama cake? I think so. He was a new flavor of cake that hoped to change birthdays for generations to come. You go, new cake. Yes. Oh, oh, did somebody take that comment out? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think there was a comment on this one. Interesting. I think they're curating their comments a lot more, maybe to keep them apolitical. But this was my Obama cake joke. But yeah, because somebody is saying you're right, but there is no previous message. So I think Runar said, "Is that supposed to be Obama?" And it's gone. Interesting. Yeah, so maybe they're just trying to keep the politics. So anytime you put a politician's name or anything in the comments, they whack it. Interesting. My subtle political commentary. Oh, look at that. I put the actual, we are happy to serve you cup, the very New York Greek diner coffee cup. They represented a time when coffee was weak, cheap, and it went without saying it was extremely hot. That's right. Now it's the beverage contained in this cup may be extremely hot. Regretfully, those days are gone. Have you priced ground coffee lately? It's enough to make a pure tea drinker. Yes. The old coffee days. 2007. Oh, another lonely early 2005 cartoon. Serious literature longed for a more tasteful bookmark. Yeah, that's not even, I guess probably with Etsy and stuff, bookmarks are making their presence known. But yeah, remember at the mall bookstores or the chain bookstores, there would always be the little rack of bookmarks, and there'd be like tassels and all kinds of nonsense hanging off of bookmarks. Probably not anymore. Who knows? All right, no love at all. It's a lazy cartoon. All right, so 2015. The challenge was not so much finding a lid as it was getting them to admit it. Who is a lid and who is not? 1 gram for $10 in Washington State. Oh, a lid. Ha ha ha. Pot joke. But they like going bald. It suits them. Oh, nice. Yeah, without a lid. Nice. So how much does a lid go for these days? Wah, wah. Hey, when did you reply to that? That's funny. Oh, man. One more. Oh, yeah, here's one that was obviously done on stream. They were all variations on the theme of extra large. No comments, then. Yeah, so this one here is more of the kind of classic little cup that I would doodle when I would sign books and stuff. It's been a while. All right. Cool. All right. So let's do some writing. I can bring this back. All right. So I'm guessing a lot of people have gone to bed. K5. If K5 has an early morning, this is getting way too late. All right. Sorry. Let's make the switch back here. And Christmas. I can't believe tomorrow is December. So, yeah, the Thursday. So the 2nd and the 7th are these what cartoons we're doing now. So the joke here is misunderstanding a tiny tree ornament for the actual tree. Amazing scale joke. Was maybe this year's tree? Going to be rough. If this was the that's not very good. If this was this. So decorating. So you're just misunderstanding. Hey, K5. Yeah, I knew it. I'm keeping you up. Yeah, have a good night's sleep, K5, and thanks for stopping by, and thanks for, as always, showing up on the weekly too. That means a lot. So take care and get some good rest. I'll try not to start so late. Oh man. So see you soon. All right. So decorations. So hoping the tree was also an ornament. I should put a hook on the top of the tree, shouldn't I? Scale. Christmas scale. The scale of decorating. All right. So maybe misunderstanding. Led to this. An ornament. Misunderstanding or ornament. Misunderstanding led to. Oh, okay. A feeling of decorating hopelessness. Maybe led. Oh, led to. And oh, which lead is it? L-E or L? Led to. Yeah. Oh, led to is EA, isn't it? Yes. Did you mean? Lead versus lead. See, I got to do this so the grammar Nazis don't destroy me in the comments. Okay. Oh, so lead. No, I thought you could. Yeah. Uses a verb meaning to be in front. Okay. The past tense of lead. Okay, so lead means to be in front, especially in sports. It can also mean the head of something. It can also mean the way, show the way to being in front, and it can also mean to go a particular direction, and also describe an action of living. Huh? Okay. None of those apply. Um, oh, this is all, yeah, this is all British as well. Okay, so yeah, so maybe just stay away from this. Yeah, this has to be British because it doesn't make any sense. Okay, led by feeling, led with feeling. Led to. Yeah, the phrase led to. Nice. 9 strategies for emotional leadership. uh, nice. Yikes. All right. Grammar is no fun to look up at all. Most common definition is to show the way, right? God. Uh-huh. Yes. Past tense. Yeah, LED, LED. Okay, let's just go with that. An ornamental misunderstanding led to a feeling of decorating hopelessness. Now that is a verbose, ridiculous cartoon in the usual style of this. Okay. The tree was too damn small. All right. Yeah, we'll go with that. An ornament misunderstanding led to a feeling of decorating hopelessness. Led to a feeling of decorating hopelessness. All right. Oh, here we go. The kind of leftovers. The decimated Christmas table. So the ideological war fought. So the ruins of the the battlefield, the decimation. Let's see. The leftovers, the remnants. No, it can't be just naming what this is. As the dust settled, the smoke cleared. Let's see. Yeah, that's funny. I must have missed Some Empty Friend just by a year, or maybe we were actually there 1 year at the same time. Yeah, that's crazy. The damage, the leftover, the what? Ideological war fought over left something something in its stead. Left the ideological war fought over Thanksgiving. Oh, it was nothing but victims. Nothing but something about, yeah, damage to family or broken. How to do or say this? This is the fun part, the thinking, not doing anything part. That's why I'm trying to talk through the ideas so it's not too terribly boring. So the ideological war fought over Thanksgiving left the dinner table and many families decimated. Left the dinner table and many family members. There's got to be a shorter way to write this. Decimated. The ideological war fought over Thanksgiving left the dinner table and many family members decimated. That's too long. The Thanksgiving opinion war. I like that. It's very long, but I like that. Ideological war fought over Thanksgiving. Or maybe not. Yeah, not family members. Left the table and most families a mess. The ideological war fought over Thanksgiving left the table, maybe dinner. Left the dinner table and most families a mess. The ideological war fought over Thanksgiving left the dinner table and most families a mess. All right, let's try that. Oh, so this is the live stream for drawing these two single panel gag cartoons a week, as you can see from the little sign up there. There. This is so bizarre. Yeah, it's a mirror there. Called Domestic Abuse. So it's just everyday, like, kind of kitchen, tabletop, desktop items that have some sentience and are playing out these little dramas that usually, most people are going through. So the internal struggles and embarrassments and failures are played out with these, everyday domestic items as objects. Yeah, I think that works. I guess that reads as some kind of liquid. All right, so it'll be white wine, I guess. So an ornament misunderstanding led to a feeling of decorating hopelessness. The ideological war fought over Thanksgiving left most dinner tables and families a mess. ... Let's zoom in a little bit here. Sorry. Make sure. Okay. Where is the... Oh, wait. Something is not right here. Check spelling is not showing up. Okay. There we go. I guess you can't be in any sort of edit mode. All right. The ideological war fought over Thanksgiving left the dinner table and most families a mess. All right. And an ornament misunderstanding led to a feeling of decorating hopelessness. Yep. Wow. Well, that went. I guess Christmas, Christmas and holiday themes tend to make this a little easier to do. All right. Yeah, I just hope my cartoons went up last week. What's going on? Who knows? Always something. All right. So 21/12/07 and 02. Yeah, sometimes I've done typos in the revert. Dun, dun, dun. Where is revert? In this menu? Yes. F12. Wow. Yeah, sometimes I've done just tiny typos in the creation that have totally screwed me up with there we go. All right. So going up a little early. Oh, so today's the last day. Oh man, last day of November. So I gotta check on my check on my Patreon. All right. So let's switch over to the convenience store. And if you've not seen this before or not been here before, this is my little trips to the little trips to Japanese convenience stores. I have some interesting little finds, so let's do this. Oh. Give my ears a break. Oh, hey, Daddy Psycho. Thanks for the raid. Appreciate it. Oh, yeah, I didn't change the raiding stuff. Hello, Will. How's it going? Perfect timing. The convenience store. I think this happens quite often during the convenience store segment. All right. So another strange gummy treat. Oh, that gold. The gold is almost keying out. No, not quite. Hey, how's it going, Lil Will? So more gummy candy. So this time, if you can see, so this is a very common, like, traditional snack in Japan. They're little mochi balls that they put on a stick and then cover. They grill them, and then nice. Yeah, not too bad. Yeah. I finished the cartoons. They were all nice and holiday based, but yeah. So we're in the convenience store, and so this is a Japanese traditional snack, but this is if you can see down here, the gummy version. So it's kind of looking like a lozenge or something. So it's gonna be the gummy version of this. So it's kind of it's a soy sauce and sugar syrup that they pour over top of these grilled mochi balls. So let's find out. And this is Kanro. So these are the same guys that make that candy. So made that sweet soy sauce candy that I was showing you guys. But these are called this style is called mochiri kanro. Oh yeah, so this is kanro mochi candy. Mochiri. But mitarashi dango is the name of these little dango. But these are mitarashi gummy. So gummy candies that taste like grilled mochi. Uh-oh. Yeah, and they do just look like lozenges. Oh, there's some kind of like sugar on them though. But yeah, see, the package was pretty honest. Oh wow. But they taste like mochi with a little bit of sweetness. Wow. So usually those flavors are very separate. Or you taste the sweet first, and then the kind of rice mochi after, but they're kind of combined here. But they do. It does taste like rice. It does taste like mochi. That's really weird. So they must use some rice starch or something in the gummy, which we can find out. So soy sauce and something. Yeah, it doesn't say anything specifically about rice, but a lot of kind of starches and things. Oh, no, there's rice. Yeah, so there is some kind of rice powder or something in here. But they're pretty clear. I don't know if you can see. It's kind of a nice color. Kind of an amber color. But yeah, they taste like... they taste very much like... but not so sweet. Not like so overpoweringly sweet. The hard candy is a lot sweeter and kind of more like sweet soy sauce. But these are pretty nice. It's always so surprising. If something isn't branded like crazy kid style, the flavor of it is always very mild, very subtle. So that's the aesthetic mostly. Yes, but these are the guys that make the hard candy. Wow. Surprisingly good. Yeah, it's a Japanese sweets are kind of an acquired taste. I think immediately if you come from like European or American style sweets, they're just kind of odd because they're mildly sweet, and the consistency, especially mochi or kind of gummy things like starchy or gummy things, it's not very pleasant. It's easy to chew and easy to eat, but it doesn't. It feels very strange. And these aren't bad at all. Yeah, so sweet soy sauce. Yeah, so this is maybe the similar formula that they use to make their little hard candies. Yeah, but these aren't bad at all. So I would recommend trying these. If you ever see these at a stand, so usually there's a little grill and you'll see little white balls of mochi with a stick through them grilling, and they taste almost like nothing. They just taste like white rice, like pounded white rice. And so they're heating them up and grilling them, and then they pour this sweetened soy sauce syrup on them. And that combination of them just being grilled and then the syrup kind of melting from the warmth is really good. It's a really nice snack. It's a little messy to eat because they usually just give them to you in the clear plastic and a clamshell. So they're a little tricky to eat sometimes because they, of course you can see if you hold them by the stick, there's going to be syrup, melting syrup kind of dripping off, dripping off. But when they're freshly, they're a really good stand food because they're really fresh and they're really not strong flavor. They're not too sweet. They're not, too salty or, savory or anything. So really nice. But in Kyoto, yeah, this is a pretty common stand food. You'll see somebody grilling little sticks of mochi dango and then put the syrup. And I think there's a couple of different. They can also, I think, put these in the kinako powder. So like a soybean, like a kind of a sweet. I don't know what the equivalent would be. Well, like a soybean powder that's a little bit sweet that has some sugar in it as well. But those are both really mild flavors. But wow, not bad. Hey, good to see you, Lowell. Thanks for the raid, Daddy Psycho. I appreciate it. But yeah, surprising. They do an interesting job simulating Japanese sweets, and I think Japanese people must be really charmed by that. That must be why they keep doing this, because this is very convenient and easy to eat. Like this, you couldn't take with you anywhere. Like you wouldn't want to put a container of this in a bag or anything, because the chance that syrup would leak out and just like ruin your life would be pretty pretty common. That would happen pretty easily. So to take this flavor, to kind of simulate this flavor in a very natural way is must be pretty charming for Japanese people, because they keep doing that. You keep seeing these traditional sweets like done in some sort of hard candy or some sort of other form. But yeah, they definitely nailed the sweet soy sauce without making you kind of sick, because I could imagine this flavor could be really overpowering if it was a little too strong. Like if you put too much sugar in it or the wrong kind of sweetener, I imagine it could taste pretty bad. But yeah, these are nice. They even taste like rice in a little bit. That's really weird. Oh man. But yeah, so that is so anything. Oh, I totally ripped off the oh, here it is. I ripped off the logo. So this company, so Kanro, Kanro, they're a very old Japanese sweets company. So they've been making stuff for a while. So if you want to taste really traditional kind of old sweets, Kanro, Kanro is a good place to start. You can and you can tell from just how old the logo looks that it's an older company. But wow, very good stuff. All right. Oh, there we go. The detritus of Thanksgiving. So I'll keep trying to find some unusual things. And they'll get more Christmas themed, I think, as the month goes on, because they push that stuff pretty hard right up until Christmas Eve. Like I said, Christmas Eve is kind of the holiday here. So the dinner, Christmas is kind of a couple's holiday. And it's a time when there's a lot of engagements and things, like people get engaged to be married. So that, Valentine's Day or Christmas are both those kind of days. And so a lot of couples make dinner reservations for just the two of them on Christmas Eve. So it's a kind of a romantic couples holiday here, not so much a kids holiday, although it is becoming more and more like kids get a Christmas present, and because there's so much Santa Claus everywhere. And I think you can even get your picture taken with Santa in some places, and it's always some foreign guy. It's always some white guy. Yeah, there's a couple of guys I think are professional Santa Clauses that I've seen around Japan, because they've got the big beer belly and they've got the big white beard. Like naturally they grew a big, mostly more gray, big gray beard, but I think they may be professional Santas. You never know. Yeah, so it's more of a Valentine's Day than it is a family holiday, because they have coming right after that they have New Year's, and so New Year's is the big family holiday when you go home. And it used to be on the New Year's holiday that for like 3 days the city would just shut down, like everything would just shut down, and you just kind of be like with your family for a bunch of days and nothing to do but like watch TV and eat. But that's becoming less and less. Stores are staying open on New Year's Day, are open the day after New Year's, and so shopping is like full steam during the New Year's holiday. And I think it's because the kids are given, instead of gifts for this holiday, they're given money. So you get your kind of New Year's money from your family. So all the family members come, and your aunts and your uncles and everybody gives you a little bit of money. So your grandparents, aunts and uncles, and parents give you a little bit of money. So you're richer than you've ever been the whole year. You have a lot of money to spend. So you basically do your own Christmas shopping, equivalent of for New Year's. And so kids are flush at the beginning of the year. So the stores are crazy busy, especially like, at the height of, like Nintendo and PlayStation and everything, like when there were new games or new systems, people would be lined up, which may be the case this year because the PlayStation 5 is still not easy to get. So there may be lines of kids for that. But everyone's got their new money and everyone wants to spend it. So I think that the stores have then, because that tradition has remained, the stores have tried to open earlier and earlier, and convenience stores and everything are open on New Year's Day. And I feel sorry for those workers because they can't spend time with their family. They're stuck at a convenience store. So yeah, it's changing, definitely. And people don't make the traditional osechi anymore, or as much, because you're not stuck inside for 3 days. Like there's restaurants are open and things are back to normal very quickly. Basically only New Year's Day. Maybe some things are, limited hours or a little bit closed. But yeah, it's very, very odd, the changes. But yeah, well, thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. Let me check make sure I didn't miss any notifications or anything like I tend to do. Nice. An intimate party of two. It's good to see you, Lowell, and thanks, Daddy Psycho. I appreciate the raid. But yeah, just wrapping up with the sweet soy sauce candies. And as terrible as that sounds, it's actually they're actually pretty good when it's like nice and reasonably mild like that. You would think something like that would be sickening sweet because yeah, soy sauce can be a little overpowering, but not at all. Yeah, surprisingly. But excellent. So thanks as always. It was good to see everybody in the chat. And sorry for the little bit of a late start. I was trying to make sure I didn't have any technical problems this week, like my little glitch. Ah, yeah, yeah. Kind of dead online. Yeah. Yeah, I was surprised. Maybe the yeah, a holiday distraction. Maybe people are still traveling or just recovering. Yeah, it was nice though. The last Friday was really I guess it was like still technically Thanksgiving in the US and it was like Black Friday here. The chat was really busy for the weekly, so that was nice. It's nice to have people yeah, people around on the chat. But yeah, so I'll wrap things up here too and try to be a little earlier so I can catch more in North America. I think I I caught just the end of K5 being awake. But yeah, thanks, Michael Scott and Some Empty Friend. That's very cool. You're in San Diego. And of course, thanks for the raid, Lowell and Daddy Psycho and Sedona. Good to see you. Yeah, and thanks for the recommendations, Sedona, about yeah, printing some stuff. I definitely should draw, the stuff that I'm drawing, get it, have other ways to experience it other than reading it on a website. Oh man. But yeah, good to see everyone. And G2G, thanks for stopping by. And Bliss Eternal, yeah, thank you. I don't recognize the name, so maybe new visitor, so thanks for checking in. But cool. Nice. Excellent. Yeah, yeah, thanks so much. Thanks for stopping by. And yeah, I got a chance to play a little Halo Infinite. Yeah, the new free multiplayer. It looks and sounds so good. I was like really shocked how good the music was and how good Halo can look because yeah, it's been a while since we've seen updated graphics. Those aren't Xbox One graphics, that's for sure. Yeah, yeah, I don't like the grind of it. Like the how they're doing, and maybe it's changed because I played it like pretty pretty early when it just came out. So hopefully they're since it is a beta, they're doing some updates. But I don't like how it's you basically got objectives or achievements or whatever, so you don't get XP for just playing. You have to like specifically do something. And someone was saying online that that's making people drop out of matches, so it's kind of screwing up the balance of matches, because if they get their achievement, they know there's no more XP. Even if they win or lose or finish, they don't have to finish, so people are dropping out just to farm XP for the cosmetics and stuff. So yeah, but yeah, I loved it. It looked so good, and yeah, made me very nostalgic for that look and feel. So yeah, I can't wait to see the single player. I hope the single player campaign is good and not too wacky. I hope they can still tell a good story. Yeah, yeah, I hope so. I hope they fix that so it's a little bit more satisfying. But I think they want people to grind. There's probably wanting people to not because people do get really hyper focused on XP grind. So if it's too easy, I think yeah, people will max out and buy everything in the store, and hopefully the monetization and everything will go well. It's not going to be too greedy or painful, but we'll see. Nice. But everybody take care, and it was good to see everyone, and hopefully it won't be too many more Christmas cartoons. It's only a few more weeks. So too many cartoons for the holiday, but Yeah. So abusecartoons.com. Sorry for the noise. Abusecartoons.com is the website, and Abuse Cartoons on all the social media. If you want to read the archive like we do for the comments, gocomics.com/domestic abuse. And yeah, I do this every week to draw the 2 cartoons that are released on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can get those in your email. And you can support this cartoon on Patreon, patreon.com/abusecartoons. And thank you, John, my eternal patron. And we will do this again soon. And check out the Upturned table on YouTube and Twitch, the weekly live stream. So Chris and I do just a discussion of gaming topics for tabletop RPGs, board games, and stuff during the week. So see you then, and we'll be back again next Monday night, Tuesday, with this the same stream. So take care, everyone, and see you again soon. Good night and goodbye. And where's my cursor? There we go. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for watching.